So the Micra is missing a few parts, as you can tell. The front wing's off, we don't got doors, the front suspension's out, but that's irrelevant for today. Most importantly, the reason all of those bits are missing is because we don't have a passenger side sill on the car. So about like 5 months ago, I cut the sill open thinking it wasn't that bad and I could just like patch it back up. That wasn't the case, and it's been sitting like this for the past 5 months. However, I now got this, and the plan is to obviously put this on the car. I've already started cutting like bits off the car there and there where it was like rusty. In some areas I did cut a bit too much, but we'll figure that out. So this is what we're working with. Obviously I started cutting bits out of the car before I got the sill, as you can clearly tell. The sill itself isn't great. I mean, I got it like this and it's a bit warped there. That's a mess. That's not really even at all. It's a bit short here, so I had to like stretch it out a bit, but we'll manage with how it is. Obviously the first step would be to cut out the rest of the old sill. As I've also said previously, I did cut out bits like there that were very rusty. We're missing this section here, but I have some bits of metal that hopefully should go there, and they're going to get welded in before this. The chances of me getting all of this done in one day are close to zero. Also, today would not be a great day for welding as it is windy, but let's get to work and see what we can get done. Right, that's most of it done. Now we just got to do the rear part. It's not looking too bad. The gaps are fairly good in some places, like that's really not that bad. This is the sill being not great. In some other places the gap could be a bit better, but we could try like push it or stretch the sill. That's one of the places in which the gap is not very good, but honestly it is looking quite promising so far. Before we start welding this on, we do need to address this right here. So I've got this piece of metal which I've cut and made to go right there and hopefully work. However, before I weld this in place, I do want to make sure that that is treated, because it's a bit rusty inside there. And we've also got this, which is meant to replace the lower part of the sill. So I'm probably going to spot weld it on like that, and hopefully that will also work. And before we cover all of this up, I do want to take care of what's in there too, because it's a bit rusty. And let me show you what I'm thinking to do. So right here we got some rust converter. Now I can't really reach in there, so what I'm going to do is I got this little hand soap pump, and I'm going to spray some of that in there. Right, let's do the same over there. Well, I've made an absolute mess of the driveway, but hopefully I'll clean it all up and we will get a long-term solution to the issue with the rust on this car. So while I let that rust converter dry, I went ahead and drilled out some holes in these new bits of metal that we're going to weld in place to spot weld them. And then same thing with this part right here. And then once the rust converter dried, I coated it with some weld through primer inside and out all along here and in there, and it seems to be dry enough to start welding. So let's get to it. So it's starting to get dark, and I think I'm going to leave it here for today. So I've welded in this little panel here and this new section of the lower part of the sill. It doesn't look pretty, but it does seem to be fairly structurally sound. I mean, I can hammer this, it's not going anywhere, it's very sturdy. I didn't use the holes I drilled, just tacking it there at the top seemed to be easier to do. But yeah, that's where we are at now. So this is where we left off. This is what we got done yesterday, and this right here is the next piece for the sill. Originally there was a similar piece like this one here in the center of the sill over here, but it was very rusty. I cut it out, so I've made this replacement that's gonna go kind of like that. The idea behind these half-cylinder things, which I tacked onto the sheet of metal, it's just a sheet of metal really, was to add a bit of strength against compression when I jack up the car, if that makes sense. I don't know if that will work or if it will make any difference, but we're just going to tack this on there, and yeah. So this piece here is welded in and painted. I've also added that little part there to try recreate what was originally there before it rusted away. And with all of that work done, I actually think we are now ready to weld the new sill in place. So I've got a bit more progress done. As you can see, I've put filler there, I've sanded it down and painted it over. From up close you can obviously tell something's going on, but I'm not too worried about how it looks. I'm just happy that it's done and it looks fairly decent. Now this still needs to be sanded down. I might have to put a bit more filler in some places, but I'll tidy that up and do the same as I've done here. Paint it. I need to weld a small rectangle here, and the final bit of work that I need to do is fill all of this in with these templates, which I'm going to cut out of that metal. So the sill is fully welded and fully sealed. We are done. All there's left to do now is paint it. So the sill is all in one colour, doesn't look too bad, especially from a few steps back. I've also cleaned the rust and under sealed the front arch, which I've been meaning to do for a while now. And now the car is finally ready to go back down onto the ground for the first time in over a month. I'm quite looking forward to seeing it all in one piece again, so let's go ahead and put it back together and put it down. So the new sill is finally done. It is by no means perfect. You can clearly see that it's not the original one and that somebody has been at it, but it should work. And that's the thing with this car for me. Like, it doesn't really matter if it doesn't look amazing as long as it works. Plus, I've done all the work myself, which is pretty much the entire point of this car for me, to try out new things and learn along the way. I'm happy with the result and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, although it's not really a tutorial or anything, but if you are planning on doing something like this to your car, I hope this has helped you or maybe encouraged you in some way. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.